If you were the boss, we'd all quit. Standing in front of me with his resignation letter in hand, Alex, who graduated at the top of his class from Harvard, was backed by 20 other Harvard graduates. Since he joined the company, Alex had always wanted to be in the sales department, but he was placed in my accounting department, where I was the manager. This seemed to be a significant dissatisfaction for him. Alex seemed to think that they were indispensable to our company. Thank you. This helps a lot. What do you mean? I will properly process your resignation letters. I'll also hand over the letters from other departments to their respective managers. So don't worry. It was a short time, but thanks for your service. Alex's face went blank with shock. The new employees standing behind him started whispering to each other in a state of panic. This was the result of their arrogance, clinging to the Harvard brand. My name is John. I am a 52-year-old manager of the accounting department at a major trading company. I graduated from a regional state university and joined this company. Time flies, and it's already been 30 years since then. 4 years after joining the company, I got married, and 2 years later, my son was born. Now, my son is independent, and my wife and I live a peaceful life. My wife grew up in a wealthy family and has a relaxed nature, which made me feel at ease just being with her. There were many struggles at work, but every April was especially nerve-wracking. This was because new employees joined the company. I didn't want to blame it on age, but I increasingly feel a gap in mindset with the younger generation. Many highly educated new recruits join us each year, probably because they can boast about being part of our company at their reunions. However, this educational background is often misleading, as a high education level does not always equate to being competent. Even among the elite new hires, many can barely use a computer, causing constant headaches for us, their senior colleagues and superiors. Many of my peers are now department managers, and when we go out for drinks, it often turns into a complaint session about our subordinates. The new hire just came in, and he says, "I'm not good at answering the phone," so he doesn't pick up even when it rings. Can you believe that? I hear that many young people are not good at handling calls nowadays because they are used to communicating via messaging apps. In the past, answering the phone was considered a rookie's job. Now, even lightly suggesting "can't you even do that" can lead to various issues. It's become a difficult world to navigate. These gripe sessions usually end around the second round of drinks. We used to stay out drinking much later, but we couldn't handle it anymore. As we age, we lose the stamina we had when we were young, and drinking a lot of alcohol quickly makes us feel unwell. Aging is a sad thing. Moreover, older people often seem to be treated worse than the young, which is baffling. Just for being young, some people act as if they deserve a reward, which I find quite annoying. Even in professional chess and other sports, the youngest players are excessively celebrated. I wonder if this is a sign of the times or if it has always been this way. Women also strive to look younger and are praised for being ageless beauties. There must be some value in getting older, but in this country, old age is often seen as a negative. The reason I felt so frustrated was that there was a real problem rookie in my accounting department, which I manage. This problem rookie joined the company 3 years ago and was assigned to the accounting department. His name was Alex. He was a top graduate of Harvard's economics department, a super elite. Alex, with his impressive credentials, was something of a hero when he joined. Our company had hired Harvard graduates before, but getting someone who graduated at the top of their class was a triumph for our HR department. I had been promoted to the manager of the accounting department the previous year, and most of the staff were young. Not everyone, but most of the employees were enthusiastic and actively engaged in their work. Being young, they also had stamina, and even with long hours, they worked hard without showing fatigue. I watched my subordinates with a sense of pride. Back then, I had no aversion to young people and, like everyone else, had high expectations for young Alex. However, these expectations were greatly betrayed. I acknowledged that Alex was very intelligent. He was quick with calculations and could finish preparing documents in no time. When I praised him, Alex would smile happily. "I've been good at mental arithmetic since kindergarten. Spending too much time on such calculations is a failure as a professional." On the surface, this might sound like a testament to Alex's competence. However, this task was not initially given to Alex. An older employee was supposed to handle it but was reassigned, so Alex took over. I thought he would continue working hard, but soon, cracks began to show in his behavior. He would browse his phone during work hours or disappear to chat with colleagues in other departments, only to return much later. When I reprimanded him, he sulked. "Anyone could do this kind of work. Don't assign me tasks that someone else can do. Then tell me, what work can only you do? At least the work in the accounting department isn't my kind of job. Sitting at a desk doing mundane tasks isn't for me. That's why I didn't want to be in the accounting department." Disregarding his unprofessional behavior, he began complaining about not being assigned to his desired department. Alex had repeatedly requested to be transferred to the sales department, causing me much trouble. There's a saying, perseverance prevails, which Alex had heard countless times from higher-ups. Each time, he would pout and say, "Fine," but he never showed any determination to excel in the accounting department. Always with a dissatisfied expression, he would only do the bare minimum, making it impossible for me to rate him highly as his manager. To be honest, I would love to wrap up this useless Alex and sending him to the sales department as a gift. When I go drinking with my peers, they mock me, saying I'm always stuck doing petty calculations. I don't even get to go out. And my pale skin is embarrassing. With Alex constantly complaining, I discreetly approached Luke, the head of the sales department, to see if there was a possibility of transferring Alex, but even the sales department deemed him unnecessary. There was another reason Alex was fixated on the sales department. Michelle, who joined the company at the same time, was thriving in the sales department. Michelle, also a Harvard economics graduate, was Alex's rival for the top spot during their student years. Although Alex graduated at the top and took the title of Harvard's valedictorian, Michelle quickly demonstrated her true abilities in the professional world. The sales department is the face of the company, so making a good impression on clients is crucial. In this regard, Michelle, with her charming face, was adored by the older generation of clients. Some clients even rescheduled just to meet with Michelle. Not only did she have good looks, but she also had a wonderful personality. She treated everyone with sincerity, and everyone enjoyed talking to her. As a result, she easily secured significant contracts. Among my peers, Luke, who had Michelle as a subordinate, was the envy of us all. Other departments also had Harvard graduates, but their brand image was the only thing notable about them, with little real achievement. Michelle is the only real talent among the Harvard graduates in our company. To be honest, I can't believe Alex was the valedictorian. Michelle being the valedictorian would make more sense. Watching my peers mock Alex and praise Michelle, I could only give a wry smile. If Michelle was the top talent, Alex was undoubtedly the worst. Having Alex as a subordinate brought me endless trouble. That night, I skipped the second round of drinks and headed to my favorite bar alone. It's a high-end, relaxed magic bar. I enjoyed watching the magician's show while sipping my drink, feeling a sense of elegance. Seeing the back of a woman with a short haircut who was already enjoying herself, my expression naturally softened. The woman turned around and waved at me when she noticed me. It was none other than Michelle, the topic of our earlier conversation. "John, you're taking your sweet time. I've been enjoying myself here." In fact, Michelle and I often ran into each other at the magic bar. There's nothing sketchy about our relationship, we both simply love magic and happened to frequent the same bar. Michelle had dreamed of becoming a magician when she was young, but her parents strongly opposed it, so she ended up as a fan. We talked about many things at the magic bar and deepened our friendship. In the depths of my heart, I thought it wouldn't hurt to entertain a flicker of sweet thoughts. One day, suddenly, Alex, accompanied by 20 young employees, walked towards my desk. Looking closely, I realized that all of them were Harvard graduates. "What's all this commotion about? John, when are you going to transfer me to the sales department?" "That again? I have no intention of transferring you to the sales department. Get back to your desk." Alex looked down at me arrogantly and threw his resignation letter onto my desk. "If you're the boss, we all quit." He was trying to manipulate the situation by bringing in younger Harvard graduates and making them all submit their resignation letters to get his way. One by one, they tossed their resignation letters onto my desk. Alex seemed to believe that they were indispensable to our company. Indeed, many Harvard graduates held important positions in the company, and if 20 of them quit simultaneously, it would cripple the company. At this moment, the company's fate rested solely on my decision. I couldn't risk plunging the company into a crisis due to my judgment. However, I was confident in my plan. I couldn't believe Alex had the leadership skills to rally 20 Harvard graduates behind him. In other words, not all 20 were united in supporting Alex. In a workplace, everyone has their own grievances and frustrations. Especially among the Harvard graduates, many had a sense of pride that they were the elite of the country, leading them to expect excessively favorable treatment. But reality wasn't so kind, and their grand expectations were continually being adjusted downwards. So, what if Alex had approached them during their moments of dissatisfaction and anxiety? Perhaps it went something like this. I want to give John a good scare. Wouldn't you love to see that arrogant boss groveling before us? I'd like to see that, but are you sure they won't accept our resignation letters? Don't worry. We have credentials recognized worldwide, not just in the US. We have nothing to fear. This might have convinced 20 Harvard graduates to join Alex. Nevertheless, I couldn't help but feel sorry for those who were dragged along into this. I glared at Alex from my seat without saying a word. After a moment of staring each other down, I suddenly broke into a broad smile. Thank you. This helps a lot. What? What do you mean? I will properly process your resignation letters. I'll make sure the other department heads receive theirs too. It was a short time. But thanks for your service. Alex stood there, stunned and unable to comprehend the situation. I felt like bursting out laughing inside, but I held it in and maintained a gentle smile. After all, as their boss, I had granted their wish. I picked up Alex's resignation letter and put it in my suit pocket. The new employees behind him started whispering in a state of panic. Hey, he's really accepting them. Does this mean Alex is going to quit? If Alex quits, does that mean I have to quit too? No one could answer these questions. Everyone was likely thinking, this isn't what we agreed to. They never intended to actually submit their resignation letters. They probably thought they could scare the company into bending to their demands with the threat of 20 Harvard graduates quitting at once. However, their bluff backfired, and now their resignation letters were being accepted, leaving them potentially jobless. This was the result of their arrogance, clinging to the Harvard brand. One of them turned on Alex, voicing his complaint. This isn't what we agreed to. You said they wouldn't accept the resignations. I never intended to quit. John, please give me back my resignation letter. I don't want to quit either. The Harvard graduates began betraying Alex one after another. Alex, looking very flustered, tried to keep up his bravado. This is just John's bluff. We'd be in trouble if we actually quit. Are you guys misunderstanding something? Just because you're Harvard graduates doesn't mean you can do the job well. You've all shown us that. From now on, HR will reconsider blindly hiring Harvard grads. All the Harvard graduates turned pale and stared at me. My calm words probably made them even more fearful. Anyone who wants their resignation letter back, line up. I'll return them one by one. All the Harvard graduates quickly lined up in a single file. It was the moment Alex completely lost. Thus, the Harvard graduates backed down, leaving Alex alone. The other employees in the accounting department ignored Alex and continued working as if he didn't exist. Occasionally, some female employees would glance over nervously. Amidst this, Alex stomped his feet in frustration. As I suspected, Alex had almost no respect from his peers. I started to feel a bit sorry for him, but if I showed pity now, Alex would stop reflecting on his actions immediately. So, I decided to take a second shot. Alex, it seems you have a significant issue to deal with. What do you mean? I don't have any issues. Then, what about your relationship with Mary? Ah! Alex exclaimed. Mary had married Kevin, the current sales department manager, 2 years ago. In other words, Alex was having an affair with a married woman. Naturally, Kevin had no idea about this. Alex had probably approached Mary not out of genuine affection but because she was married to the sales manager. He likely wanted to gather information about the sales department and get Mary to put in a good word for him with Luke for a transfer. I can't keep this a secret from Kevin forever. If it comes out, not only will you not get a transfer, but you might also be fired or sent to a regional office. That would be terrible. Please do something. Michelle had informed me about Alex's indiscretions, which dated back to his college days. Over drinks at the Magic Bar, Michelle had shared stories about Alex's character and past behavior. In college, he only targeted girls from wealthy families. I was on a scholarship, so he ignored me. But my friends were deceived by his seemingly kind appearance and suffered because of it. Is that so? Is he seeing anyone now? He's secretly seeing Mary from your accounting department. He knows she's married, so it's definitely an affair. Mary's husband, Kevin, the sales department manager, is 10 years younger than me and a very serious man. His only flaw is that he's too serious and hasn't had much luck with women. However, 2 years ago, at the age of 40, he married my subordinate Mary, and I thought they had built a happy home. But it seems Alex approached Mary purely out of ambition, intending to use her. This infuriated me, and I trembled with anger. Around the same time, Mary confided in me, admitting she had been seeing Alex. She said she didn't feel bad initially, being pursued by a young, promising elite like Alex. The thrill of keeping it a secret at work only fueled her feelings. But gradually, she began to suspect that she was just being used. Her doubts started when Alex, every time they met, seemed overly interested in her husband Kevin's activities and the internal issues of the sales department. I regret what I've done. I want to break up with Alex without my husband finding out. I understand. I'll make sure Kevin doesn't find out. Let's arrange a time for the three of us to talk. One afternoon, sensing the time was right, I called Mary to my desk, and the three of us went to the meeting room in the back. First, I asked Alex if he genuinely loved Mary. Alex leaned back in his chair and started laughing. Seriously? I'm not in love with an older woman like her. But she takes me to expensive places and pays for everything. She's like a convenient ATM. Clearly, Alex never loved Mary. As the conversation continued, it was revealed that Alex had also borrowed money from Mary. If Kevin finds out about your relationship, you won't get away unscathed. End the relationship immediately and repay the money you borrowed from her. On the condition that I wouldn't tell Kevin anything, I made Alex promise to repay Mary in full that very day. I was such a fool. Mary cried, covering her face. Meanwhile, Alex remained sullen, showing no signs of remorse. For someone like Alex, who had lived his life as an elite from a young age, this was the biggest crisis of his life. If he had declared at that moment that he would change his ways and work seriously, things might have turned out differently. However, Alex remained defiant until the end. Are you really going to accept only my resignation? Rejecting everyone else's but accepting mine is just harassment. You've always hated me and now you're taking your revenge. Despite being the one who caused this situation, he was shifting the blame and even threatened to take the matter to President Anderson. He won't let this slide. I'm a Harvard valedictorian, a valuable asset. He won't want to lose me. I began to feel a strange sense of pity for Alex. How delusional must he be to think he is so special? Finally, I decided to reveal a significant secret. I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. My wife is Mr. Anderson's daughter, and I'm the next in line to become president. So, whatever you say to my father-in-law will likely fall on deaf ears. What? You're the next president? No one ever told me that. Those who needed to know did. You were too consumed with your own ambition to be told. It would have caused too many problems if you knew. Mary, listening to the conversation, brightened up. Not revealing John's identity to Alex became a kind of amusement among the employees. Everyone secretly laughed, thinking he has no idea. Serves you right. What? You all conspired against me? Why? I'm not the only one who wants to get ahead. If you had faced each task earnestly, your future might have been different. But you were insincere because you felt you didn't belong in this department. This is your consequence. Mary was right. Unable to find words to counter Mary, Alex looked down for a moment but then desperately pleaded with me. "John, I'll change my ways and work hard. Please return my resignation letter." It was just a joke. As a leader, you should understand and accept such jokes. Alex, take responsibility for your actions. I didn't force you to submit your resignation letter. Moreover, you almost caused other employees to resign too. Therefore, I will process your resignation. And so, Alex ended up resigning. The resignation fiasco caused by Alex became a hot topic within the company. Everyone accepted his departure as inevitable. Having been with the company for only 3 years, he didn't receive any severance pay. Alex packed up his desk, under the cold stares of his colleagues. "You'll regret staying in this company. I'll make sure of it." With that parting shot, Alex left. Alex's resignation also impacted the other Harvard graduates working in different departments. He wasn't the only one who had submitted a resignation letter. Trying to resolve their grievances by threatening the company was unacceptable. If this behavior was tolerated, similar incidents could happen again. The Harvard graduates involved in the fiasco were summoned individually by President Anderson and were asked to reaffirm their commitment. They desperately explained their actions, not wanting to be fired over this. Afterward, the young Harvard graduates became less outspoken, making it easier for those of us in leadership positions. They were elites, so they would likely become leaders in the future. Hopefully, this incident made them reflect deeply. Mary, who had been having an affair with Alex, confessed everything to her husband Kevin, ready to face divorce. They had numerous discussions and ultimately decided to rebuild their marriage rather than divorce. Lately, they have been rediscovering the good in each other, and Mary happily described it as a second honeymoon. Perhaps this is what they mean by "a storm strengthens the roots." Shortly after this commotion, I experienced a shocking event. Michelle announced she was quitting the company. At our favorite magic bar, Michelle told me quietly over drinks, "I enjoy my current job, but I don't want to give up on my dream. I've decided to become a magician." Michelle explained that her Harvard salutatorian title felt like a chain. She had always been made to believe that, given her excellent education, she must use her intellect to contribute to society. Her parents, of course, expected her to follow a conventional career path. Then, Alex's resignation debacle shook Michelle's resolve. Michelle gave a small laugh and joked, "I felt like writing my own resignation letter too." I couldn't deny Michelle's decision. Now that it had come to this, I decided to support her quietly. After resigning, Alex quickly tried to find another job but found himself blacklisted by related companies, receiving no offers. Still brandishing his Harvard valedictorian title, he reached out to various startups and managed to join one. Alex tried in his own way to make me regret pushing him to resign. However, he caused similar problems wherever he went. Frustrated by what he perceived as unfair treatment, Alex stopped working for others and borrowed money to start his own business. However, his business never took off, and he found himself unable to repay the debts. Despite his parents' help, his newly founded company soon went under, and he descended into a degenerate lifestyle. He was often seen gambling on horse races and sports, and walking around the neighborhood smelling of alcohol even during the day. 7 years have passed since then. Now, as the president of the company, I came to Las Vegas with my wife, partly for business. That night, Michelle was performing as a magician on stage. I felt both excitement and anxiety, my chest tight with anticipation before the show started. Michelle appeared on stage in a dazzling costume. She exuded confidence, and the audience was continually amazed, their cheers and applause never stopping. Since becoming president, I have always made it a point to listen to others' opinions. My brother-in-law, James, who is the executive vice president, actively manages the company while I often stay in the background, supporting him. I even checked with James to see if he would prefer being president while I took the vice president role. But James preferred the current arrangement. This setup allows us to work in the most effective way. There are various ways to live one's life. Some live brightly in the spotlight, while others thrive behind the scenes. A glamorous life comes with significant hardships, and a life behind the scenes requires a careful consideration of human connections. To others, Michelle's life may appear glamorous, while mine seems modest. Regardless of the path, I want to ensure that I can look back and feel that my life was worth living. I'm only 60, and my life continues. I will keep valuing human connections and live my life earnestly.